Hey guys, Christian Babcock here of the Hunter's Advantage. Meteor just released an article regarding a new possible world record whitetail harvested in the state of Kansas by Blake Keating. And this buck is thought to have beat the previous world record set in 2018 by Luke Brewster in Illinois when he harvested a 320 and 5/8 inch whitetail, just a mega giant. But the question and the controversy around Blake Keating's buck is, was it legit and is it off a high fence? Let's dig into it. So to start out, here's the new buck. This buck has 50 points. Which is just something you never see as a free-range hunter in the whitetail woods. This is something we're used to seeing in high fence operations, you know, when they grow deer well over 300 inches, feeding them tons of protein and things like that. Right out of the gate, when I'm looking at this buck, it looks to be a high fence deer, just solely based on the rack. I know Luke Brewster had a crazy rack on his deer, but this deer with 50 points just has points going everywhere, drops, kickers, all those sorts of things, and it immediately to me screams high fence. But let's get into the article that Meteor released. Regardless of if this deer grew up on a high fence, to Blake Keating, the guy who actually harvested the deer, this deer is 100% legit. If I had a high fence deer that came into my feeder or into my field and I harvested a buck like this, regardless if it was a high fence deer, if it didn't have an ear tag, I would think, oh my gosh, I just shot the world record buck. So hats off to Blake. Before we even get deep into the video, I don't know how he kept it together on a buck like that. That's just incredible. But getting more into the article, the nearest high fence that this buck would have possibly got out of was 10 miles away. So right off the bat, it's like, okay, well, 10 miles away, that's quite a distance for a singular deer to travel, especially if it got out of a fence. But right after he killed the deer, a game farm reached out to him and said, hey, I think this is one of our deer. It looks familiar. So the story goes on to say that a new high fence operation that was put up pretty close to where Keating was hunting, the deer actually escaped from some sort of trailer while they were moving the deer from the trailer into the pen. So since the deer was raised for the purpose of being shot, it's not going to be eligible for the Boone and Crockett record books. But regardless, from Blake Keating's perspective, this deer was complete 100% free range. It showed up on his property on September 11th, 4 days before he shot it, and he said it was a regular in the evenings at his place. So regardless, this is just a kind of a sneaky situation where a world-class whitetail gets out of a high fence operation and is shot by a lawful hunter who thinks he's harvesting the new world record whitetail. If I was Blake, I would be ecstatic regardless. Does take some of the coolness away knowing it was a high fence deer, but regardless, truly an awesome whitetail, and from Blake's perspective, probably thought he shot the new world record whitetail at the time. I mean, just look at this buck. This thing is absolutely incredible. You can read more about this on MeatEater's website. I'll put the link to this article in the description of this episode. You can read the full story there, but gosh dang, Blake, I'm so sorry that this deer is not going to count for a record book buck, but regardless, cool story, a lot of excitement. It seems like we've been having more and more of these record deer and potential world record deer being shot in the recent years. So it's really exciting stuff. If you guys haven't seen our episode with Gunnar Womack, who shot the archery state record free range in Oklahoma, check that out. I'll leave the description of that in the bio of this episode. But looks like now Luke Brewster's world record is safe for the time being, and we'll see how it continues to play out. Thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll see you guys in the next video.